Welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee. This is voting list number 13, March 29th. We have a number of cross-file bills that we're going to either pass out in the same version that they were in when we passed the House version, or we're going to change the Senate bill, I think, to our version for the most part. So we're going to go through the cross-files fairly quickly, because there is another meeting at 6:30. So Senate Bill 5, Lindsay, followed by Delegate Rosenberg.
This bill is identical to House Bill 479.
Move the bill.
That is correct. Move the bill.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Please raise your hand. The bill passes unanimously. Senate Bill 62. Lisa.
There are amendments in your packet. They make it substantively similar to its cross-file House Bill 28. There is just a little bit of a difference in the wording, but.
Move the amendments.
Second.
Discussion.
I can just say the amendment is just very minor word change and all the stakeholders are on board.
Okay, so is the Senate going to change our bill to look like
There's
this?
yes.
Okay, fine. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. All those opposed, no. I see no hands. All those in favor, oh, we need somebody to move the bill.
Bill, as amended.
Second.
All those in favor of the amended bill say aye. All those opposed, no. Raise your hands. Passes unanimously. Senate Bill 487. Lindsay.
This is identical to House Bill 389.
Move the bill.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Please raise your hands. Seeing no hands, the bill passes unanimously. House Bill 607, Aaron.
This bill is identical to its cross-file House Bill 906.
Move the bill.
Come on, someone.
Second.
No move.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Please raise your hands. House Bill 607 passes unanimously. Oops, that's Senate Bill, not House. Senate Bill 654, Lindsay.
There is a technical amendment on page 3 of your packet. Otherwise, this is identical to House Bill 279.
Move the technical amendment.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment passes unanimously.
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes unanimously. We're going to move on to Senate Bill 17. Aaron?
Senate Bill 917.
917, yes. Looked like a zero from a distance. Thank you.
That bill is identical to its cross-file House.
Move the bill.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes unanimously. Senate Bill 978, Aaron.
It is identical to its cross-file House.
Move the bill.
71.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill passes unanimously. We will now go back to Senate Bill 144. Lindsay.
This bill repeals provisions governing the prescription, administration, and regulation of amygdalin to treat cancer. It was considered in Health Occupation Subcommittee.
Delegate Kelly.
Thank you. This bill passed unanimously. It just cleans up the outdated law. If you remember, amygdalin breaks down into cyanide. It's been banned by the FDA. So we just want to update our law. Passed unanimously. Move the bill.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill passes unanimously. And the last bill that we need to talk about is, where did it go? Oh, yeah, 708, which is Aaron and Delegate Peña-Milnick.
This bill establishes a compliance officer within the Maryland Office of the Inspector General for Health to ensure that units and employees of the Maryland Department of Health comply with best practices in healthcare, public health, and government administration, and laws, regulations, and MDH policies. There are amendments that were adopted in the Public Health and Minority Health Disparities Subcommittee that provide that within 30 business days after receiving a complaint or allegation, the Inspector General, the compliance officer, or a designated Inspector General must respond to the individual who filed the complaint or allegation with a preliminary indication of whether the Maryland Inspector General for Health is able to investigate the complaint or allegation, and if not, the reason, unless providing the reason would have a negative impact on or jeopardize an investigation being conducted by the office, a managed care organization, another unit of government or law enforcement, and the contact information for the Office of Legislative Audits Fraud Hotline.
Delegate Penny Melnick.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Aaron. We had a discussion on this bill. We had the Department of Health. They are present as well, and they actually were happy that we had the amendments where we changed the dates from 7 to 30 business days, and then we negotiated on the language. We had a discussion. Some members did not feel that we should change the dates from 7 to 30 days because the department didn't quite understand what the bill did, was the comment made. We took a vote on the amendments, and the amendments, there was one member only that did not vote for the amendments. On the bill as amended, everyone voted for it. It was unanimous. And we discussed the need, why we know that the office starts as of July 1st, 2022. It will be an independent office. This will help them because they're overwhelmed, and some members share experience about how they contact them and they got a reply, but they didn't really provide any help. And I said that this would give them the help and the extra body, the extra pin to be able to do this work as well. So we took a vote and it was unanimous.
Okay. Would you move the bill, the amendment?
I move the amendments.
Is there a second? I see hands raised, so we're going to have some discussion. Delegate Kipke, you're first. Delegate Shalega, you're second.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I've been trying to understand some of the opposition to the bill. It didn't pass the Senate. I think it passed on partisan lines or nearly partisan lines. So I've reached out to some of the people about the bill, and it seems that there might be some concern about a conflict that could develop between, deputy secretaries or people in authority with this newly created position. So this newly created position will have some authority over health best practices. So I just want to play it out. If there is something, I don't know, something about vaccines, for example, where a deputy who is in charge of it is saying that, we're going to have a voluntary system where we're going to put vaccines out in the community. People can get it if they want it. But this individual that we're creating is saying that the right thing to do, and the science shows the right thing to do is we should make everybody do it. How does that conflict between those two positions get worked out under, under the enactment of this law?
Delegate Penny Melnick.
This is an independent office. The whole point of putting this office, of passing the bill last year to create the office of the Inspector General separately, was to get away from those conflicts because this person will not be actually reporting to the secretary. But this has, I think that the scenario that you just put forward it's not relevant to what this office would do. This compliance officer basically is very, what they're going to do, it's in the bill, and it has nothing to do with making decisions on the science. And if you go through the bill and you see what they do, Aaron, you want to tell us what they're going to do? It says may investigate fraud, waste, and abuse of the departmental funds and behavior in the department that threatens public safety or demonstrate negligence, incompetence, or malfeasance. So I don't see how
the bill is introduced had the compliance officer doing those things, but if you look, the bill has been amended so that just the Inspector General is able to do the actual investigation of fraud, waste, abuse of departmental funds. And then what the bill does is also authorize the Inspector General to investigate behavior in the department that threatens public safety or demonstrates negligence, incompetence, or malfeasance. But there was an amendment that strips the compliance officer's ability to do these investigations.
And that is on page handwritten 23, line 31. You'll see that it's stricken right there. So your scenario won't apply. They can't do it.
Thank
And I
you.
think, yeah, you're welcome.
Is there any, Delegate Shalega?
Thank you. Yeah, I think Delegate Kipke may have straightened it out because I looked at the bill after our voting session and noticed that there are a lot of unfavorables on this bill. And because it was sponsor only, we didn't get to hear any of those things. So I may not be voting for it. I'm going to finish reading the bill and doing my homework, but I wanted to let that be known since I'm on the subcommittee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Delegate Krebs?
I thought we had this bill as a crossfall. Do we have something like this in the House bill?
This particular bill was not cross-filed.
The bill, didn't we pass an inspector? Didn't we have a hearing on an inspector general bill?
Last year.
Oh, we didn't do it. So what is
The
different?
Barron, it was the Barron bill last year.
Okay. But we never voted on that last year?
No.
No, that
it-
bill actually established the Maryland Office of the Inspector General for Health.
Okay, so.
And then this bill builds upon that office by adding the establishment of a compliance officer. And then it also expands the authority of the office to investigate behavior in the department that threatens public safety or demonstrates negligence, incompetence, or malfeasance.
So do we already have in place now an Office of Inspector General in the Department of Health?
Correct.
That passed last year?
It's in the department right now.
Uh-huh.
The bill that you all passed, effective this July, will make that an independent office.
Okay, and
This
so
bill adds
is
upon
it
that.
in place yet? I mean, are they working yet? Are they staffed?
I think it'll be ready to transition to that in July. Heather Scheck was on the call today, made no indication otherwise.
No, I just wish we'd somehow been, I had some briefing on, I remember doing it, I supported that. I'm just questioning what we're doing here in addition to that. And I haven't read this because I thought it was the same thing.
Would you read the new language that is about the new protecting the public health part as opposed
Yeah, so-
to the existing language that's about
Right.
financial procurement stuff?
Right now, the office investigates fraud, waste, and abuse of departmental funds. And this would add to their authority to investigate behavior in the department that threatens public safety or demonstrates negligence, incompetence, or malfeasance.
Do we have an Inspector General already? I mean, do they actually have one in place?
Yes,
And did they weigh in on this bill?
they submitted testimony and the amendments that were adopted in the Public Health Subcommittee. You received a separate email yesterday with the department's letter. And for the most part, their amendments were adopted, but they did agree, Heather Scheck was on the call, with the kind of tweak to their amendments. So what they wanted was more of response time to go from 7 to 30 days, which that was added in the amendments. What they wanted was to strike the requirement that they would have to provide, if they weren't unable to investigate, strike the requirement that they'd have to provide the reason. But we kind of worked with that language a little bit to say that they would have to provide the reason unless providing the reason would interfere with a current investigation, because that was their concern.
All right, thank you. And listen, I'm all for the Inspector General. I supported that last year. Because I haven't seen this, I'm not on public health. I'm going to just hold off or vote no until I read it, and then I'll maybe be on board with it. But thank you for explaining that.
Well,
And
read
if I
that
may
because
add-
it's going to be heading for the floor quickly.
I'm trying to read it right now. Thank you.
Okay.
And if I may add, Chairman, the question was asked of Heather, was she there for the Inspector General? And she said yes. And, okay,
Good, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Delegate Chisholm and then Delegate Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to try to answer Delegate Krebs's concern, because it was kind of my concern too. We really don't know what's going to happen with this new independent agency of the Inspector General. And this is why I was behind Delegate Barron's bill last year. I think it's a great idea. But the fact that Heather Scheck was in there today, to me, is immaterial because the Maryland Department of Health is going to have nothing to do with this unit going forward. And unless we can look into a crystal ball, we don't know how it's going to operate. And I think the impetus behind it, to answer Delegate Krebs's concerns, is right now, because they're still underneath this umbrella of the Maryland Department of Health, I think they feel like they're afraid to do certain things because they're underneath this umbrella. And once they become independent, maybe they will be able to do more investigations and be a little more authoritative into trying to combat some of the waste, fraud, and abuse. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not certain that adding this next pin, I know that Chair or Vice Chair Penny Melnick believes that it will just give them even more teeth to do some more things, and maybe it will. I'm not sure, but I think that we're on the right path. I voted for it today. I'm not certain on how this new position is going to really add a lot because nobody knows how this new independent unit is going to run in the state of Maryland until July 1st of 2022. I hope it operates in the way that we wish it to operate, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. And the Maryland Department of Health adding stuff today is it's nice, but it really means nothing to this bill, in my opinion, because they're no longer going to be involved with this. And I hope that answers part of Delegate Krebs's question, and that she can read through the bill a little better.
Delegate Rosenberg.
I would just add that Senator Lamb testified at length on problems this past year, and he had as a witness the staff person, a medical doctor who filed a complaint. And I just think that what we've done, especially with the amendment, is appropriate insurance for the new position when it goes into effect. Thank you.
Delegate Hill, last bite.
I just wanted to add to what Delegate Rosenberg said, and particularly to the benefit of the members who aren't on the committee. Delegate Chisholm's correct that there's a pin that the vice chair thinks is very key. I think the key change here is that it goes beyond. This independent office will have the authority beyond simply looking into fraud, waste, and abuse. They will also be able, if they get a complaint, to look at threats to public safety or demonstration of negligence, incompetence, and malfeasance, which is particularly germane to what we saw that the whistleblower came out with, because the response she got is we don't have the authority because it doesn't fall under fraud, waste, and abuse. And that being said, because the language that was added in the amendment, which I think is good language and makes the bill much better, that the response is not as Heather Scheck and the department said in their letter, they thought they had to give sort of a definitive response or an investigation outcome. And what the language makes clear is they just have to let the complainant know whether they're at the right office, whether they have the authority to investigate the complaint based on the nature of it. And I understand that the decision was made, to go ahead and give them the 30 days, because what's 30 days? But I would just, for the record, as I said in the subcommittee, with this added language that clarifies that they're simply saying this is the right place and we can take it. This is something we could decide to take a look at, that the 30 days is probably not necessary. But it's a good bill, and I think it doesn't presume what the office that we put into place with Barron's legislation, Delegate Barron's legislation, can and can't do, but it recognizes that some of the breadth of authority was lacking. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other hands. We have moved and seconded the amendment. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Please raise your hand of the amendments. The amendment passes. Someone move the bill.
So move.
Second.
Is there discussion on the bill as amended? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Please
Aye.
raise your hands. I see Delegate Kipke, Delegate Krebs, Delegate Shalega. I see 3 no votes. With that, the bill passes, and that ends, I believe, the work of this vote session. Is that accurate? Anything I've forgotten, staff? I do that sometimes, as we all know. Okay, thank you all for a good day's work, and brace yourself because it's going to be a wild ride for the next 10 days after today.
Chairman, there are 2 hands
I
up.
see Delegate Banderi's hand. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Due to my internet connections, I joined late. I would like to be recorded on the green on all these bills.
Fine, we can do that since you're here. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, I see Cullison, then Landis, then Johnson. Why is everybody putting their hands up? Delegate Cullison. You're muted. You're still muted.
I obviously was having trouble with my links, and as you can tell, not able to unmute. I too would like to be recorded in the affirmative on the bills on the voting list. I am familiar with them and was prepared to vote affirmative on all of them.
You're yes on all the bills, Delegate Cullison.
Thank you.
Delegate Landis, did you have the same problem?
Absolutely.
Oh, I guess we're having a problem in the building today, huh?
Yep.
Okay, Delegate
okay.
Landis will be affirmative in all the bills that were on the voting list today.
Yes.
Delegate Johnson, same?
Me too, Madam Chairman.
Delegate Johnson will be recorded in the green on all the votes of the day.
Me too, please, because I got the message late, please. Thank you.
That was Delegate Lewis, I believe. Okay. Okay, this is unbelievable. Okay, everything is going flash, flash, flash. I see Delegate Bagnall next. Just say
I'm a me too.
Okay, Delegate Bagnall will be reported in the green on all the bills. Delegate Kerr.
Connectivity issues, I'd like to be recorded in the green.
What a mess we had today. Sorry about that. I wonder what went wrong. Okay, Delegate Kerr is in the green. Delegate Shalega.
I thought we just did one bill. So what were the other bills we did? I must have gotten on late because of connectivity and everybody's
I
talking
think,
plural.
Delegate Shalega, everything else was unanimous. Will that help you?
Can you tell me the numbers?
Yes, don't you have the list?
If she had the list, she wouldn't be asking.
Probably. But
Well, I
you
can
don't
tell you
always
the numbers, but they're.
Yeah, you don't always stick by the list. So can you give me the numbers?
We did stick by the list this time, but I will give you the numbers, but I will tell you that they were all cross files except 2. And they were unanimous. And the 2 that were not cross files were 144, Senate Bill 144 and Senate Bill 708. 708 you were here for.
Right, okay.
144 has to do with the Latrell bill to say, no, it can't be prescribed.
Okay, and all of them were unanimous?
Yes, except
Okay,
for
except for the one that I voted no on.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Are you voting yes?
You can just leave me off the votes, except for the one I was actually here for.
That's fine. We
Thank
will
you.
do that, of course. Thank you, Delegate Shalega. With that, I will say good night to some of you, and to others of you, I'll say see you in rules. That ends this meeting.